We're going to his hometown and his home city, so we can't go to the judges. And I'm leaving with my hand raised. Take that how you want it.
I sent offers out to Barrios, Brian Norman, and Stan Jonas, it's out of my hands now. My main goal right now is to become undisputed at 147, to collect these belts.
Guess what? I guess he think he finna stop me or something like that, so he asked for 2 more rounds. And guess what? I still did 2 more rounds. Can't nobody fuck with me, plain and simple. I don't care who you is. And the thing is, it's another thing as well. This not even just for him, this for everybody. You better catch me now. That's all I'm gonna say. You better catch me now. Cause the older I get, you still gonna get fucked up now. But the older I get, the more you're gonna get fucked up. That's all I'm gonna say.
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning a possible unification title bout at 147 between Jaron Ennis and Brian Norman Jr. Before I continue, I want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. And if you haven't already, could you please hit the notification button? If you like my content, what this will do for me is every time I create something new, you'll be notified. Thank you. All right, guys, firstly, if you want to watch the entire videos in their full version of Brian Norman Jr. talking about sparring Jaron Ennis, and then a separate video, Boots talking about upcoming potential fights. Those 2 links from the YSN YouTube Sports Network are in the description below. I keep getting torn with talking about Turki Al-Sheikh, whether he's good for boxing or whether he's not. And whenever we get potential fights or upcoming bouts falling through, it always comes down to corruption and politics, and this leans me back towards thinking, shoot, maybe one governing body would be good to negate all these things. And if you're confused what I'm talking about, let me fill you in. Over the last few days, Eddie Hearn goes on YouTube and talks about that he sent 3 offers out for a potential fight to unify for his new fighter, Jaron Ennis. Those offers were to Stan Jonas, Barrios, and Norman Jr. And Eddie Hearn on YouTube said that all 3 declined. The very next day, Brian Norman Sr., Brian Norman Jr.'s father, does a video and he's like, Eddie Hearn, what are you talking about? You're a liar. You never sent us a contract and we never declined. What happened was you sent us an offer and we sent you a rebuttal offer. This is how negotiations work. But to go on record and say my son denied the fight is absolutely erroneous. And then this sparked the last 24 hours of back and forth from both camps, and it looks like the fight is close to being signed. So in this video, what I'm gonna do is create a conversation around the statistics, because from what I've been able to tell in the boxing groups today and on our YouTube posts today, this is a torn, one-sided affair. People are either loving Norman Jr. or loving Boots, and there's a lot of misinformation going around about both guys, their resumes, what they've done in their careers. So today, we're gonna break all that stuff down. We're gonna give you guys statistics to talk about. I'm gonna talk about a strength of schedule, basically their resumes. We're gonna find out who have they been fighting, how they've been going about their business, and at the very end, I'm gonna leave it up to you. If this fight were to go down, who would you put your money on? Guys, now let's take a closer look at Brian Norman Jr. Guys, Brian Norman Jr. is 26-0 with 20 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 77% career knockout to win ratio. He's currently ranked number 6 in the world at 147 pounds, and he is the WBO world champion. The 23-year-old American is an orthodox fighter standing at 5'8" with a 72-inch reach, and his adoring fans call him the Assassin. He last took on Gio Santillan, who was 32-0, knockout in the 10th. Boca Chica, that fight was a no contest due to both of them getting cuts, so we're not gonna add that record into this stat. Quentin Randall was 13-0, UD in the 10th. Campos, 24-4, UD in the 8th. Correa, 10-4, UD in the 8th. Guys, now let's get our calculators. What we're gonna do is add up Brian Norman Jr.'s last 5 opponents, their win-loss records on the night that they fought Norman Jr., and all 5, starting with Santillan and finishing with Juco. You get a career record of 89-16, giving Brian Norman Jr.'s opponents an 85% win-loss ratio, which means he has an 85% strength of schedule. We know that Norman Jr. is an undefeated fighter. He's 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Over his career though, he's only had one 12-round fight. So when we talk about, is this too much too soon? If you're looking at experience, that might be something you could talk about. He has beaten 0 world champions and he's beaten 2 undefeated fighters. We know he has all the skills. We know he has the dog in him. He has that mindset. He wants to fight. At 23 years old, he will be turning 24 this November, and he's getting better and better with each fight. It's wild to think that knockout in the 10th round of Santian was his first 12-round affair, and if that is signs of things to come, the future is bright for Norman Jr. Now let's take a closer look at Jaron "Boots" Ennis. Guys, Boots is 32-0 with 29 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 91% knockout to win ratio. He's currently ranked number 1 in the world at 147 pounds, and he is the IBF World Welterweight Champion. The American is an orthodox fighter standing at 5'10" with a 74-inch reach, and at 27 years old, his adoring fans call him Boots. We last saw him fight a Venetian 30-4, knockout in the 5th. Roman Villa 26-1, knockout in the 10th. Karen Chukashian 21-1, UD in the 12th. Custio Clayton 19-0, knockout in the 2nd. Thomas Delorme 25-5, knockout in the 1st. Let's grab our calculators, and what we're gonna do is add up Boots Ennis' last 5 opponents' records on the night that they fought Boots, starting with Ava, finishing with Delorme. You'll get a record of 121-11, giving his opponents a 92% win-loss ratio, equating the Boots, his resume, as a 92%. He has beaten 1 world champion, and he's also beaten 2 undefeated fighters. When I did a live earlier today and was talking about this potential matchup, some misinformation was being thrown out there that I want to cover right now. Boots Ennis has only fought 1 world champion. That was Sergey Lipnitz. David A. Venetian was not a world champion. Brian Norman Jr. has fought 0 world champions. So 23 years old and 27 years old, based on that, their resumes are pretty similar. Neither guy has a resume that jumps off the page that makes you scream, wow, that's a loaded resume. But that being said, this is a matchup. It is super intriguing because the styles. Also, you don't hear a lot of guys calling Jaron Ennis out, and that's why it's exciting to see a 23-year-old Brian Norman Jr. who thinks that he could take Ennis down. If you watch the beginning part of this video, it's a small clip of Norman Jr. talking about his time sparring with Jaron Ennis. He doesn't speak about if he saw something there that makes him so confident, but you have to think that was a few years ago, and an athlete, a pro athlete in any sport who's at 23, he is not even in his physical prime yet. So you know there's confidence knowing that with each fight, he adds new skills, adds a higher ring IQ, and over time you get a attitude and you get a mindset and a confidence as a Brian Norman Jr. If these two were to fight, if we wake up tomorrow and you're seeing me doing a video like it's official, who would you put your money on? This is not my prediction video. I don't predict any fights that haven't been signed, so I'm gonna leave it up to you in the comment section below. Are you putting the house on which fighter? Norman Jr. or Boots? Let me know.
The very first time we sparred each other, my first time ever doing 4-minute rounds, and he wanted 4 rounds to begin with. All the way through the 4 rounds, I never got hurt, never got stunned, never got wobbled, never got dropped, nothing. Cool. So I'm finna get out. And guess what? I guess he think he finna stop me or something like that, so he asked for 2 more rounds. And guess what? I still did 2 more rounds. In the worst shape in my whole life, and I was a little kid at the time as well. So I was just thinking, nah, I don't care about none of that for real. That was years ago. Also sparring and fighting is fighting. It's 2 different things.